In fact, we have come to know that all these tsunamis can be stopped if we do not kill these aquatic creatures. In fact, a very big hurricane which came in Florida is attributed to the large number of fisheries which were being killed in America.
Benevolent viewers, welcome to today's Planet Earth, Our Loving Home, and the first in our two-part series on the alarming rise in severe natural disasters around the world. From tornadoes and typhoons to earthquakes and floods, our planet is experiencing powerful events in ever more extreme forms, leaving in their wake heart-wrenching trails of climate change-related destruction. Research by Dr. Carrie Emanuel, Professor of Meteorology at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, in the U.S., shows that over the past 30 years, the intensity and duration of hurricanes has risen dramatically, in line with the climb in global temperatures. The reason for this trend is that as ocean surface temperatures increase, so does the amount of water being drawn up into the atmosphere to form typhoons. Heightened seismic activity has also been linked to climate change, as Dr. Bill Maguire, Professor of Geophysical Hazards at the UK's University College London, concludes in his report, Climate Change, Tearing the Earth Apart? Dr. Maguire believes that as our Earth warms and the ice melts, the unloading and loading of massive amounts of ice from the Earth's tectonic plates produces tremors. Our planet is getting hotter due to the cycle of producing and consuming animal products. Research by Jeff Anhang, a World Bank Group environmental specialist, and Robert Goodland, a former World Bank economist, demonstrates that at least 51% of human-caused global greenhouse gas emissions come from this cycle. Scientists have also shown that natural disasters are produced in other ways related to livestock raising, namely the extremely negative energy generated by killing. Dr. Madan Mohan Bajaj, formerly Chief of the Medical Physics, Immunophysics, Nuclear Biophysics, and Biomedical Engineering Research Laboratory of the Department of Physics and Astrophysics of the University of Delhi in India, and the current Chancellor of the International Kamadhenu Ahimsa University, has investigated what he calls the breakdown of integrated systems, or BIS effect. In short, the BIS effect describes how animal slaughter and other violent behaviors cause natural catastrophes. Dr. Bajaj has documented seismic activity occurring after major holidays, such as Christmas, when millions of turkeys and other animals around the world are killed for food. Furthermore, his work shows that tsunamis and cyclones result from the slaughter of marine life. Dr. Bajaj will now discuss the scientific mechanism by which animal killing produces earthquakes and other disasters.
We have been concentrating on the connection between the eating of meat and disasters. When we kill the animals, what happens? Very low frequency signals are emitted, and we have found out the frequency of those signals is about 2 Hz, 3 Hz and so on. These are the shock waves, and sometimes we also call them as VLF signals or Einsteinian pain waves.
Arising out of these pain waves is a particle called nociception.
This is a very, very small particle you cannot see with your own eyes, but this particle, which is so small in weight, it is very highly penetrating and it goes deep in the ocean or deep in the earth, and it is able to penetrate. It leads to P and S waves, and P and S waves are called as pressure and shear waves. These waves lead to concentration of radon at certain point, and you can see those radon concentration. It has been confirmed that the radon concentration becomes 10 times in those areas. A huge amount of P and S wave are concentrated, and when this emits out, then we get scintillations. Now these scintillations are very enormous, and these are observed, and once scintillations are observed, you will definitely have an earthquake after 4 hours.
These implications of Dr. Bajaz's work are enormous. We now take a look at some major natural catastrophes from the past few years and examine the extent of animal agriculture conducted in the devastated areas. In Sichuan, a province in southwestern China, tremendous numbers of livestock are regularly killed. In 2006, Sichuan was the nation's largest producer of pork and slaughtered 74.7 million innocent pigs, accounting for 12% of the country's total. In 2009, Sichuan farmers killed more livestock than in any other Chinese province, approximately 45 million animals, or 14% of the nation's total that year. On May 12, 2008, a 7.9 magnitude tremor struck Sichuan, with the epicenter in Wenchuan County. It was the largest earthquake China had seen in 60 years and caused massive destruction and misery. The tremor was felt as far away as Thailand and Aulak, or Vietnam. Approximately 87,000 people lost their lives, while 375,000 were injured and 18,000 were listed as missing. It has been estimated that up to 4.8 million people were left homeless as buildings collapsed in the worst-hit areas. As of 2011, the cost of reconstructing Sichuan has reached $122 billion, with over 5 million homes in cities and villages either rebuilt or renovated. Qinghai Province is a picturesque mountainous area that borders Tibet and is 4,000 meters above sea level. Its primary industry is livestock, with the main animals raised being yak, Tibetan sheep, Yushu horses, and goats. Qinghai produces large amounts of meat, dairy, leather, and wool, which are sent to other parts of China and account for a quarter of the province's revenue. In 2006, Qinghai Province produced almost 272,000 tons of meat, and in its Yushu Prefecture alone, there were 2.6 million livestock in 2009. On April 14, 2010, a devastating quake measuring 6.9 in magnitude struck Yushu, causing 85% of the buildings in the prefecture's Jiegu town, located 30 kilometers from the epicenter, to collapse. The death toll from the seismic event was estimated at 2,687, with 270 people listed as missing. 80% of the primary schools and 50% of the middle schools in the area were severely damaged, while 100,000 people were left homeless. More than 12,000 received broken bones and bruises, with 1,500 of these being severe injuries. Reconstruction costs of the first 3 years post-disaster are estimated at $4.9 billion. The state of Alabama, USA, has the nation's third largest poultry production industry, worth $5 billion annually. Chickens are raised for both meat and eggs. It is estimated that 1 billion chickens are slaughtered in the state each year. It also has a $2 billion a year industry centered on raising cows for beef. On April 27, 2011, 173 separate tornadoes, some up to 1.5 kilometers wide, tore through 14 southern states, causing the worst damage in the U.S. since Hurricane Katrina decimated New Orleans in 2005. It is estimated that the tornadoes caused $5 billion in damage to property, public infrastructure, and vehicles. The twisters even caused 2 nuclear power plants to shut down due to damaged transmission systems. However, emergency generators were activated to prevent a nuclear meltdown. The hardest hit state was Alabama, where 236 deaths occurred, accounting for more than half the total, and another 1,700 were listed as missing or injured. Doctors said that the injuries were similar to those seen in high-speed car crashes, even though the people affected stayed in their own homes. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, was likely the most severely affected city, with 5,000 buildings being leveled by a tornado with wind speeds reaching 322 kilometers per hour. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said that the number of tornadoes touching down in the 24 hours was a record and was the deadliest such outbreak since 1925. What made these twisters even more destructive was that they ripped through populated urban areas. We next shift to the state of Queensland, Australia, which is the nation's largest producer of beef and the world's largest exporter of live cattle. Hazardous floods occurred in Queensland from December 2010 to February 2011. The cause of the flooding was the massive amount of rainfall brought in by tropical cyclones Tasha, Anthony, and Yasi, which combined with the seasonal monsoon put 52% or 905,000 square kilometers of the state underwater. Over 200,000 people and at least 70 towns were affected, with 35 losing their lives and another 9 residents listed as missing. Thus far, the Queensland government has allotted $7.2 billion to pay for rebuilding the state. Some of the worst affected areas included Rockhampton, which promotes itself as the beef capital of Australia, with 2 enormous slaughterhouses located in the town, and one of the largest livestock selling facilities in the nation, just 9 kilometers away in Gracemere. In the city of Toowoomba, livestock slaughtering accounts for almost half of all agricultural production. In addition, the almost 2.5 million egg-laying hens in the Greater Toowoomba region supply nearly 3/4 of all the eggs consumed in Queensland. In early January 2011, Toowoomba was hit by a flash flood in which 160 millimeters of rain fell in 36 hours, killing 4 people. The amount of suffering and loss of life caused by these and other recent natural disasters is almost unfathomable. Is there a way to protect ourselves from future calamities? Supreme Master Ching Hai advocates the organic vegan solution as the fastest and most effective way to end climate change and as the best earth-loving lifestyle.
If the world were to go 100% vegetarian right now, the good effect of it will be seen within more or less 60 days. That is 8 weeks. Within 8 weeks, you will see immediate effect. Of course, you also see immediately, but it's almost immediately. But to see the whole big picture, you can realize it within 8 weeks. Yeah? Within 8 weeks, all disaster will stop. That's how heaven is created. What do you think? Oh, where do heaven come from? Heaven is a place where all beings act in the same way. I mean, not like uniformly, but in the same level of compassion, same level of love, and same level of spiritual knowledge, understanding, same level of nobility. That's what heaven is.
Our deep thanks, Dr. Bajaj, for your important research that scientifically demonstrates that only plant-based diets are sustainable and ensure the safety of humanity. May you and your colleagues continue to inform communities everywhere of this noble way to protect our planet. For more details on Dr. Bajaj, please visit www.linkedin.com. Search Madan Mohan Bajaj. Please join us again next Wednesday on Planet Earth, Our Loving Home, for the second and final installment of this series. Eco-conscious viewers, thank you for joining us on our program. Coming up next is enlightening entertainment after noteworthy news. May we all live in everlasting health, happiness, and love with the Creator's blessings.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/PE